Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you are amongst the 50% of the people watching this who have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show while it is live, and if you would like to join the debate, there is a link in the info box below this video. With the page you are currently listening to on mute, simply click that link to join the show and express your views on the shape of the Earth. There are a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number one, please do not swear. If you do, you will be ejected. And if you are, please do not try to rejoin the show using sock accounts. You will be warmly welcome back on the next show. Now, in a moment, I'm going to transition across to the Hangout, as we do have a couple of guests in there already who are very keen to do a presentation, which is Ranty and Sleeping Warrior, so I'll introduce those in a moment. But before I do, please share the show, as sharing the show increases the live audience, of course, which in turn increases the likelihood of having a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you are new to the channel or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. So if I say, first of all, a quick hello to Sleeping Warrior. How are you doing, Sleeping Warrior? Good to have you here.
Good evening, Nathan.
Good to see you. And also, Ranty, how are you?
Yep, not too bad. Ready to go.
Excellent. Well, you guys feel free to stick what you like. Don't have to ask me to screen share. I'll just click it, as I know pretty much what you're going to do anyway. So the mic's all yours.
Okay, so this morning's Hangout, Flat Earth Debate 76, it was quite contentious because we'd made assertions that we could see the Isle of Man. And I've recently uploaded a video, and the focus for tonight was originally going to be the focus of this video. And it's called Flat Earth Isle of Man Addendum. And we were going to talk about this in depth. I released that video specifically to give Miles a bit of chance to look into what we could see on another video that we took that we didn't release on the day because there was more information in it. But what we realized is that if we focused our attention, instead of looking to the right-hand side of Isle of Man, if we focused our attention, where's it gone? If we focused our attention to the left-hand side of the Isle of Man, would we get any information that would support or go against the notion that we're looking at the Isle of Man? And could we find any evidence to support that Ireland was there? So Ranty had the idea this afternoon whilst I was making the video. Ranty decided that he would look to the left. Now, the problem with doing that was that I didn't actually know he was doing it at the time. And halfway through my video, as I was getting towards the final part of making the video, Ranty said to me, "You need to have a look at this." And I said, "Why? What's the matter?" And he said, "If we go the opposite way, we can see Ireland on the other side of the Isle of Man as well." And I said, "Are you joking?" And he says, No, I'm serious." Now, it becomes moot. I'm going to conclude by way of introduction, but it becomes moot how much of this we see. But whatever we're seeing down here, this is significantly different to what we're seeing here. So we can see the Isle of Man in the footage, and I'll play the footage in a sec, or maybe Ranty will do that. But what we'll be able to do is we will play... oh, I'm not getting my screen shared, am I? Hang on, let me go. I'm on the wrong screen. You guys aren't seeing it. So I need this one. Come on. Share. Is that working? Is it? I think it's this one. No, it's that one. Right. So I didn't realize that you guys weren't seeing that. So what we realized that whilst I was making the video is that Ranty said to me, instead of looking over this side and arguing for whatever is over here, let's look on the other side and see if we can see stuff. So that's what Ranty was doing. And whilst I was finishing my video, Ranty said that we can see Ireland here. And I said, "Are you absolutely sure?" And he was like, "Yeah, come and look." So essentially, Ranty was looking at what features that we could see in the Isle of Man here to identify Isle of Man. And then was there anything in the background, like this big mountain, for instance, or this mountain range over here? Could we see any evidence of it? Now, he was doing this because I was making the video. And towards the end of my own video, Ranty said to me, "You need to see this." And the conclusion is that we can see and identify clearly this town called Douglas, and we can see a tuft of trees here, which marks pretty much the end of the Isle of Man. We're also seeing more land over this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass you over to Ranty. I'm going to let Ranty speak to you and present what he found this afternoon, whilst we discuss and show you the elements of the Isle of Man that we can prove is the Isle of Man, and also the bits that are inconsistent with it being the Isle of Man. And given that there's no other landmass anywhere near, it means that we're looking at stuff that's in addition to the Isle of Man, and it's so far away that it's miles worth of curvature, literally miles. No pun intended. So what I'll do is I'll pass you over to Ranty so that he can talk you through the stuff that he spotted, and then we'll just interrupt each other throughout, and we'll show the bits, because there's a couple of key points that needs to be presented. As long as he gets it, happy days. So with that, I'll pass you over to Ranty. Stop my screen share.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I know you've had this video for a while now, and it was good watching the boulders squirm for a while, because the first video that you released wasn't so clear as this particular video that we're going to display now. Basically, this is the same location, except you went perhaps another 10 or 12 feet higher. As you can see, there's the cove in the corner.
Well, no, it was actually a little bit. It was later on in the day because the weather conditions got better, so I went back.
Yeah, later on in the day, but it's also slightly elevated a little bit higher, because I think you were here, so you're perhaps another 10 or 12 feet higher. It's negligible anyway, because when you see the video,
there's that word again.
Yeah. So here you are zooming into what can be clearly seen as the Isle of Man. And you can see individual towns here.
Buildings,
yeah. I'll be able to identify these soon. But I'm just going to play the video and let you see. So here's, for instance, there's a nice shot of you panning out. Just to the right here is Scafell. It's the highest part just here of the Isle of Man. And then you pan across. Here we have a little bit of a rock formation, another village that I've identified. I'll show you this in a moment. Go for that. And lastly, these lights here, this is part of Douglas. This area here is where Douglas is. And all this landmass to the left, all this landmass here is Ireland, some 150 miles away. So some individual parts that I can pick out for you right away. Here's the highest part of the Isle of Man. This is the highest peak here. If I just play the video a little bit more, you'll see it starts to tail down and go off. Okay, so I'll just rewind it back to here and show you where this particular town is. Okay, so if you see the land mass here, can you see where it sharply increases in elevation here? It rises up very sharply on this ridge. And we have a little town just at the bottom on the waterline here. And we have another town here. Do you see them, Anthony?
Yep.
Okay, so we're in the same place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into these two places here, and I'll show you where they are on the Isle of Man. Okay, so when I scroll across here and we get into line of sight, this is line of sight. As you can see, there's the sharp increase in the hill. There's a line going up there, which is a marker for a town, and another line up here, which is another marker for a town. And if I scroll in, you'll see that the terrain matches. And I'll show you back to the video. As you can see, town here, the terrain comes down, it goes sharply up, and then it starts to taper off down again.
Yep.
Okay. So there's the landmass rising up, starts to taper off and starts to taper down. Here you can see.
I don't think anybody's going to disagree with this particular point, because it's matching perfectly.
And here we have line of sight for this clump of little houses here, and this other clump of little houses here. Okay, now if we scroll across this landmass here, you'll see there's no other towns or villages until you get to this section here, which is probably the most startling piece of information that we have, simply because it's so easy to identify, which is really good for purposes of this anyway. Okay, so here we have this town. I get the name of it. Anthony, could you find the name of this town for me, please? But it's on this ridge, and if I go back and forth and I scroll in and out, you can see there's another ridge behind it. Can you see the ridge above this towny area here? As I scroll in, can you see the town on the ridge? So as I scroll out now, you'll see this other ridge behind it. So all this peninsula here, all these towns, this town is quite a large town, and it comes across this ridge here. And in the background, you have another ridge behind it.
That town's called Ballacanal.
Ballacanal, right, okay. So if I play you the video and show you this town.
Now you have to understand there's 2 layers of land here. There's 2 contours of land.
Yeah. So here's the lights. Here's the lights of the town running down the side of the mountain, there. And there's the ridge behind it. Clear as day. You can see it's 2 land masses. You'll see it better on one of the. Actually, I'll show you that now. Actually, I think I've got it on here. Let's see. Right. As you can see, the town runs along here and it tapers off, and you have the land mass behind it. There's the 2 villages, village 1, village 2. There was the first thing that I showed you. There's the village. Here's this village that runs down, and there's the mountain behind it. And as you can see, that is exactly what we're looking at here. I think there could be no way you can argue against this. This is what we're actually seeing. I think my mouse needs new batteries, I think. Okay, so there's the town there on the hill. Okay, so when we scroll out, last week we look over here and we see the port of Douglas, which is another large town. In fact, I think it's a seaport, isn't it, Anthony?
It's the capital of Isle of Man. It's more than a town, it's a city. You
have this clear line of sight to this area here, which is all these lights here, 7 meters in altitude, 8 meters in altitude. You have a couple of little buildings cut into the rock face here, which are around about 30 meters above sea level. Again, it comes around here. You're looking at 21 meters to the edge, to these buildings here. And if we look at the video and we go, press play again, there you can see these are the villages here and here in this area. This little area here was what I first thought was Douglas, actually. I'm still unsure 100% because we only found this information out, I'd say an hour and a half ago. So it's either Douglas or it could easily just as well be.
Go with Douglas because the trees line up. It's the trees that's important there.
Okay, well, I'm not going to commit to something that I might not be sure about, but what I will say is that, okay, when I scroll back here and I look at this terrain here, this rugged terrain, there's a possibility it could be that. Now, I'm not going to commit myself and say for sure it is or it isn't.
Well, there's no.
What I will say, yeah, I know, but I don't want people to say, oh, you're lying about this or you're lying about that. Right. But what you can say is you can see that village coming down here. You can see that, in fact, there's the entirety of the Isle of Man here. There's where it starts to, there's the highest point, there's where it tapers off, comes down. There's that village, comes along.
Right, just stop it there, Rance. Stop it there.
Yeah.
I want you to identify that tuft of trees to the left of, that. Identify that, because the minute they see that, then that'll identify that is, what's it called?
Yeah, I mean, I know you're pretty certain about this. So there's a possibility.
When I did it, I had it on elevation 3 to make the trees stand out.
Now, what you're suggesting is it's this area here.
Yeah, where you've got, just behind there. If you move backwards,
Yep.
zoom outwards a bit, keep going. Because what you want to do is you want to get the cove that's on the right hand side to start to foul the picture. So push your screen up so that you go backwards. Yeah, that's it. Keep going. Keep going. That's what you need. Now, if you get it down towards like lower in, and then change your altitude to like 3 times the elevation terrain.
Okay.
Then you'll see that you'll see that it matches perfectly. So what we're actually identifying now is the trees that are on the high line. This changes everything. This is the bit that proves that it is. There you go. So you can see that now start to go in towards it.
Okay.
And you'll see now that the cliff edges on the right hand side block off the houses and stuff of the town or the city. Stop there. Stop. Go back a little bit.
So you're talking about this little tufty area here.
Yeah, the tufty area there. Now look at the shape of the houses that emerge from behind the corner of the cliff.
These ones that are set into it.
No, to the right of them, just to the right of them. The shape of that there is triangular. Now, if you look at the shape of that and you look at the trees that are on the top of the cliff edge, it matches exactly what we're looking at. Just zoom out a little bit on the picture. You can see the triangular shape to it.
Okay, here.
And, yeah, the triangle.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you're right, actually.
And you can see
Yeah, so it's
you can
like
see the
that
trees on the left-hand side.
Yeah, I get you.
So, but now what's really interesting, if you go back to Google Earth.
Okay, I'll give you that. So,
now
so it triangles down there, yeah.
Just strafe now to the left. Just pull the map to the, keep going. Keep going. Look beyond that and see what we see.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, I'm going to get to that now. Now that I'm sure that, like, you've just pointed this out to me and walked me through it, I understand. What you're saying is that you see probably a lot more buildings on the right-hand side of this, and it tapers down into a triangle shape.
Yeah.
And on here, you see the same sort of thing. Yeah, okay, I can give you that. And to be fair, this is the only village or town in this location that matches up after this village.
But what you need to show, Ranty, is what's not seen on the left-hand side by strafing.
So, well, anyway, let's take. So now that we know
guys,
this is what we're looking at,
I think you've conclusively identified that you're looking at Isle of Man, but you've not actually told anybody the important bit yet. And we've been 15 minutes right now so far. So
I'm going to lower that back down to normal. So now we know that this is what we're looking at. This is Douglas. When I scroll out on the line of sight and look up, we don't have much land, if any, here to this part of the Isle of Man. After this light here, we maybe get this little section here of the Isle of Man. We have all this other land here to identify that goes all the way across here, from there all the way across here, in case you can't see it.
There's the tuft.
So if I go back to here and I scroll out and we go along this line of sight here, in the background we have Ireland, and here we have a mountain range in Ireland. And this mountain range it goes up to around about 600, 700 meters. And that is in a direct line of sight.
700 meters?
Yeah. So it's around about 2,000 feet. But the distance is about 150 miles to 170 miles. So if I put a line of sight in here now from there to where you took the image, Anthony.
We've got 2 minutes. Nathan's telling us.
Okay. That's 162 miles.
So, Ranty, just flick back to the evidence and show how much land is there beyond that Douglas.
Here. Oh, there's none. Hardly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hardly anything.
Go back to the evidence, though.
Oh, the image.
Yeah, the image. So there's the tuft, which we can identify. Now just pan the picture across to the left. All that land doesn't exist in the real world. So this is, again, evidence that we are looking at Ireland and we're not looking at the Isle of Man.
Yeah, I think it's quite conclusive that from there all the way across to there is not part of the Isle of Man.
No,
In fact, even more from here, perhaps.
it's just
All the
beyond
way
that tuft of trees.
Yeah.
So basically, I guess you can open up the floor now and let people come in and just start giving us abuse, but we'll batten them off.
We can just keep playing the video. I mean, we don't have to say anymore. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we're not here to lie. We're just here to present the evidence, and the evidence just says that, you know, that's that town and that's that town, and well, what else could it be apart from
what was the distance? About 170 miles, did you say?
Yeah, 160, 170 miles.
And then at 35 feet, that's 3.02 miles of hidden refraction.
Yep. And you've only got what, a third of a mile on those hills, those mountains in the background.
So bowlers need to come and identify the land that goes beyond that tuft of trees, which we know stops at the Isle of Man. So open up the floor, Nathan, let them come in, and then let's see what they can come up with, because that land needs to be identified, and I think we've done it more than comprehensively. It don't appear to be Isle of Man. It appears to be significantly more.
We have been joined by Arwin. Good to have you here, Arwin. Nice to see you.
Hey, hello Nathan. Hello Riley.
Yo.
Good to see you.
Hiya.
So, hey, I have to kind of disregard that claim of yours that way over to the left, what you saw there is definitively land, because that part was so blurry and hazy. It looked to be like it could also be partial clouding that flowed over the ocean that were cutting off part of the sea there. So
Okay.
it's very hazy air way over there.
What about this land mass
Bear with
here,
me,
then?
guys.
No,
We've been joined. Bear
on
with
the
me.
other
Bear with
side.
me, Arwin. Been joined by Curved Water first. How you doing, Curved Water?
All right, how's everybody?
Good to see you. And we've also been joined by Brenda. How you doing, Brenda?
Good evening, good afternoon, or if afternoon for me.
Good evening
for
to you,
suppose.
Brenda. Good to have you here.
That sounds like a very deflated curved. Or
What are you discussing this evening?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, now I'm looking to the right-hand side because this was originally what.
Ranty, just show the evidence again and see if Arwin's rejection of the evidence is justified or not. Does it look like it's cloud or does it look like it's land?
Well, I'm saying it's inconclusive because it looks so hazy.
Are you just getting me back because I didn't agree with you the other week?
No, this is just something you can expect being you.
Thanks.
What are you looking at?
This is the Isle of Man.
Yeah,
A distinct lack of curvature.
definitely land. The shapes.
On YouTube or on
Although when you
Google
look,
Earth
when
or
you look
what?
right here in the middle, over there, see, there's a part that seems to be extra white blurry. Could be cutting off part of the mountain ridge or whatever that is. So this cannot be used as a perfect identifier, in my opinion.
Okay. So would you agree that that is that village though?
What? Which?
If I go
What
back
village?
to this
Sorry.
video, you see this little village on the bottom here and this village here, and the terrain matches up with this. If I show you back on here and I scroll in. Get back in the right log thingy for it. It's always a trouble when you're trying to set it up and
well, when you're trying to circumnavigate,
You have to reel it in like a.
There it is. That's
like a fishing rod.
There they are. See these lines here?
Okay.
That's one village. That's a line to one village at the bottom. That's the line to the second village. And there's the terrain and where it goes up.
Zoom in on that place a little. I want to see how it looks like pattern-wise. Maybe I can recognize the pattern of it. I can't definitely not see it here.
You can see that?
No, I still can't make out any detail in the village.
Oh, in the village, right? Well, I'm just looking at the terrain first. If you look at the terrain first, and we get that lined up with this sharp increase here on the terrain. It comes down sharply up.
No, but look at the scale of it. Look at way over the right. See that hill? It's much larger. It
Well-
doesn't match up.
Well, the thing is, and
It doesn't match up.
this is,
No, it doesn't.
well, here's the thing. I pieced together the entire section from the video,
All right.
and I overlaid every image on top of every image to get the full span of the Isle of Man.
Okay. Yeah.
So I know
Yeah, I see it.
that that's Snaffell, the highest part, and I know that that village and this village 100% are this village and this village.
Just show it on Google Maps. Show it with the contours.
Again, can you
Zoom in
switch
a bit.
in between those two?
Yeah. Can you see this terrain? Can you see
Can you
this?
switch
Yeah.
between the two? Compare them.
Pull Google Maps in a bit, Ranty. You're a bit too far out.
Let me just scroll out, Tad.
I don't understand the point of contention.
I want to see if it really looks the same.
Okay, well, there's the end of. If
Sorry,
I go over
Ranty.
here, there's the end. It goes up, keeps going up to here. Okay, so
Yeah.
would you say that was Snaffell?
I reckon we're gonna get sniped.
Yeah.
Either way, before
know
you
that-
do, can you just explain to Brenda? She says she doesn't understand what the problem is. The problem, maybe I can do it. The problem is we're seeing Ireland about 170 miles away, behind the Isle of Man, Brenda. That's the problem.
And the other problem that I'm trying to just address right now is that even if you deny that that is Ireland, what we are seeing here, an elevation of 27 meters, with this particular town, if we go to the distance calculator and see how far it actually is from where the image was taken, we will see that down to 27 meters, which we've identified, and the distance is 32 miles. So that should be behind the curve.
Yeah, you got a point there.
Okay.
But the red lines are going to Ireland, are they not?
Yeah.
This first red line is going to this village here that I've just showed you where it was. That's the
Okay,
second.
The point I'm
Is it
trying to
really
make,
good on the
Ranty, is
second
you've
one?
spent so much time focusing on the Isle of Man. I don't think the audience has picked up on the fact that there's lines
Okay.
going beyond it that are with Ireland. If Brenda didn't pick up
Right.
on it, it's because you've
Okay,
spent so
well-
long pointing out that the edge of the land you can identify on the Isle of Man to prove it's not Ireland, which
Yeah.
then continues off to the left in your photographs.
Yeah, this land mass here, which is Douglas, which is got a clear line of sight to, and if you look back on the image, and we scroll over to the left-hand side of what was actually captured, this is the village of Douglas, or the city of Douglas, should I say, and all this land mass behind, all this land mass to the left as we keep scrolling across and scrolling across.
Oh, yeah, but here
Is Ireland.
it looks like I don't know.
Well,
Looks very
there's some
uneven
there's
and
some
blurry.
lights on.
Yeah, I
Well,
know this part.
on
Yeah,
this-
but we're
okay,
more
so if
over
I-
to the left.
If I
The
have a look over here,
point is,
show
though,
you the
Ranty,
lines here.
when that tuft of trees is demonstrated, the land stops pretty much immediately after that tuft of trees.
Sure, I think you
Doesn't
guys have
carry
spent
on.
plenty of time identifying the Isle of Man. I think it's probably better if you focus on Ireland and
Well, this is
identifying
Ireland now.
Ireland from this point.
These
'cause-
lights here that we're seeing on this image here, these lights,
Yeah, you're doing it again, Ranty. You're focusing all of your attention on the Isle of Man, and you've got Ireland behind it, 170 miles away. If you can just try
Yeah,
and
this is
focus your
Ireland.
attention on that for the audience, because we've had 25 minutes of you looking at the Isle of Man again,
Okay.
and about 30
is-
seconds of you looking at Ireland, 170 miles away.
this is Ireland here. This is what we're looking at now. This is Ireland. And the line of sight bypasses this Douglas here. Douglas here ends here on this image. Douglas ends there, and all this land mass over here is Ireland. And Ireland is 160 miles away,
Wow.
which is these mountains over here. It's the only mountain range in Southern Ireland, and it just happens to be in the exact line of sight of what was captured on that day. This mountain range here.
And we know it because the land stops just past that stub of trees.
Sorry, just before we go any further,
Uh,
what's the elevation of that you have your mouse over now, Ranty?
700 meters exactly there. And the
Which is
distance
what?
is
What's
100.
that in feet?
Oh,
I'll find out.
yeah, you find out. 700 meters, well, 780 meters there, it says. Goes up to, it just went flipped past
3,000.
800.
3,000.
And can you do the curvature calculator for that?
Yeah.
For 163 miles.
2,559 feet.
Yeah, it's about
So
20. 2,500 all the
Yeah,
way along.
2,500,
in
just
different
over.
places. And the curvature calcs on it are... What distance are we going for them?
It's 163 miles roughly.
163. It's just below 3 miles worth of curvature.
Wow.
So if we go with 160, let's go with 163 from the 35 feet, 2.61 miles. Well, I thought we had it at about 170 before, but if we did 163 miles.
Well, this is the easiest thing to look at here. You've got this line here, the two white lines there, this white line here. We identified these towns. We've identified this town, which is the one that slopes behind the two hills. And this is Douglas here. This is another town that we've identified. And they are all on this image here, which there's the town that slopes behind the other town. There's the town that sits on the water.
So
The town here.
What's the elevation of the camera?
Oh, it
35.
was about
35 feet.
35, 40 feet, if that.
Just Ranty, go back to that tuft of trees, because
So you don't know the height of the camera.
Yeah, it was 35 feet, Brenda. The tuft of trees to the left, Ranty. Identify them.
Here.
Go a little bit further to the left. Yeah, them trees there. Them trees. If anybody can identify them as anything, all the land that goes to the left of them isn't Isle of Man. So that tuft of trees is the last point that we see.
What is the point that you're saying should be obscured by the curve?
Well, firstly, everything. You shouldn't even
Ireland.
see Douglas.
Everything to the left of the tuft of trees.
Well, you shouldn't even see Douglas, really.
No, you shouldn't even see Douglas.
What shouldn't you see?
Ireland.
How high above sea level is the point that you can see that you say should be obscured?
Well, the
Well,
thing
we
is,
can
Brenda,
see
sorry, I'll
Douglas.
take that one, Brenda. So this morning we spent an entire hangout debating whether or not we should see the Isle of Man and debating that it should or shouldn't, or just maybe the tips of it should be seen. Well, now we have land masses that are massively in excess of the Isle of Man. So if we were debating that the Isle of Man may or may not be hidden behind the curvature, I'm pretty certain it's safe to assume that Ireland, considerably further away, should definitely be hidden by the curvature. Would you agree that?
I don't know.
It's 160, let's say it's 160 to be generous to you. It's 160 miles away from the vantage point at 35 feet off the ground. Should it be hidden by curvature, Brenda, or not?
I don't know how high above the sea level is the target.
35 feet off the sea level, and the distance in miles to Douglas is 42.5 miles. That gives you a refracted hidden of 687 feet.
And then
Whereas
what's the
Douglas
refracted hidden for Ireland?
Whereas
That's for
Douglas itself is only around about, this building here is just at 40 meters, about 100 feet. So
Should be 687 feet behind the curve.
So Douglas should be that far. That's just Douglas.
But Ireland,
So
sorry, just before
the
Brenda,
target is
sorry, just before you respond,
165
Brenda.
miles, you
Sorry,
said?
Brenda, bear with me. I just want to get because we've done it again. We're now focusing on the Isle of Man. So what about the hidden amount? Maybe do the maths to show how much those longer lines, the more important lines that we're not focusing on so much. Ireland,
Well,
how far away
yeah.
should that be behind the curve?
It depends on how much we can see land-wise, and it's open to debate how much we can see, but it's at least 106. Ranty, just get one of those red lines and just tell me what the distance of one of those red lines is.
Well, I'll do it from let me do it from the center here.
All right.
Right. So I'll just put a line in here and we'll just measure it right now. So put a line in there and we'll just do it from there.
So I'm still unsure. You have the target at 165 miles, right?
We have the target. Well, we're just going to work out the distance now.
Earth sure does have a lot of curve from this elevation on Google Earth, eh?
So even
Yeah,
if,
you're probably really high.
See, it squishes out as you go lower.
There's 146 miles to the center of the
146
mountain
miles.
range there,
It's 146.
to there.
146 miles to that point, and that works out to be 2.07 miles of curvature. Miles. That turns out to be.
Repeat
in
that again
feet.
one more time, Anthony. I didn't. Just one more time.
2.07 miles, which turns out to be 10,900 feet.
Over 2
Supposed
miles
to
of curvature should be obscuring our view.
Yeah.
Okay. We're
So
joined
unless we've
by
got
Gem
Paul,
Panda.
the
How you
one
doing,
on
Gem
tele-
Panda? Good to have you here.
Unless Paul comes on and tells us that this is crazy bendy refracted light, then it's kind of
Bear with me, Anthony. I
flat.
just want to say hello to Jem. How you doing, Jem?
I'm good, thank you.
Good to have you here.
Thank
Oh, I
you.
didn't even get a hello. That's nice, isn't it?
Sorry, I didn't see you there, Mark. Good to have you here as well,
No,
Mark.
that's
Thanks for
okay,
being here.
That's okay. I've got a few issues with it, Anthony and Ranty.
Can I just get this in very quickly, Mark? Excuse me. Sorry about that. The distance to Ireland from here, from this point, is how far?
It's about 150.
150 miles. And are you saying this? There isn't any significant atmospheric refraction effect going on.
Yeah, absolutely. There's this fiction that Paul comes up with, non-standard refraction, only applies to things like Fata Morgana's superior mirage, inferior mirage, crazy stuff. And we're not seeing any crazy stuff.
So you would contend then, under normal circumstances, when there isn't, any weird refraction going on, at sea level, we should be able to see 150 miles.
No, it was an exceptionally clear day, and I didn't have a lot of atmospheric moisture stopping me.
Just said it wasn't. There wasn't any exceptional atmospheric effects.
No, there is, but it's
No,
very
you
hard.
misunderstand.
No,
Understanding.
he just said that he just admitted there wasn't any.
Yeah, no, that's
Refraction.
there wasn't anything crazy stopping me from seeing. It was less moisture in the atmosphere stopping me from seeing. That's correct.
So under normal circumstances, should we be able to see 150 miles or not?
Yes.
It's not the normal circumstances. It's under how clear is the atmosphere.
Whatever is happening in these images is exceptional then.
Yes.
The
It is
clarity,
super
yeah, I
clear.
could see further today because there was less moisture in the atmosphere.
Effect of some description. Would you agree with that?
Sorry, repeat that question.
It's an exceptional atmospheric effect of some description that's going on. Is that
No,
what
it was devoid of moisture. It was just a clear day. There was just no opacity in the atmosphere.
So my question is, again, is there an exceptional atmospheric effect going on or isn't there?
No, there isn't.
No. So under normal circumstances, when there is no exceptional atmospheric effect going on, we should be able to see 150 miles at sea level.
Well, I'd like to go back on a non-clear day and see how far I can see.
What the
He
question?
can't answer the question.
Yeah, right. So what you're asking is two different questions. The
Did you
first
see
it's
that
not.
point
It's the
there?
same question.
On the right edge, you saw a part of a mirage there because it was cutting down.
I want to stay on this if I can, Arwin. You've said
Just look.
there are
You
no
see it right there.
exceptional atmospheric effects occurring. So we can conclude from that if in this circumstance there are no exceptional atmospheric effects occurring, and we can see 150 miles, that in any other circumstance when there are no exceptional atmospheric effects occurring, we should be able to see 150 miles at sea level, right?
Yes.
if there is less moisture in the atmosphere, you can see further. Yes.
Exactly. What Riley says.
Less moisture. It's over the water, though, Anthony.
I know,
So
but
is there being less moisture? Is that an exceptional atmospheric effect or not?
It
no, it's
depends
a-
on the region, really.
I would
No,
call it
no,
a lack
no,
of
no.
effect.
Typical moist
Isn't-
region, or if it's not, it's
Wouldn't
very
you
I
call
would
it a
say
lack
not,
of
it's the
effect,
removal
Jem?
of a barrier.
When you call it a lack
Okay,
of
so
atmospheric effect.
These conditions are considered to be pretty much the norm, Riley. This is your
it was
most
just-
common observation.
It was just a summer's day. That's all. It was just a bright summer's day with less humidity. That's all it was.
All right, so this view is So available to people by routinely. Definition, then, Riley, there's no refraction going on, so that'd be a normal day, then, wasn't it? Because you deny refraction, you deny that there's an average a calculation for refraction. So if it's not major refraction, either mirages, super mirages, or whatever you want to describe, then it must have been a normal day, then, mustn't it?
It was a normal day. It was just devoid of atmospheric.
So why, like Jim says, why can't we see anywhere else 150 miles? I'm
Moisture
on
in
the
the
south
atmosphere.
coast, yeah.
Hang
I
on,
can
sorry.
see France. I can see France from the UK, which is 26 miles.
So
I can't see
just so I can
deep
get the
into France.
Wait a
Jem's
minute, have we
point
said
clear.
anything?
Sorry,
All
guys,
we've
don't
done
just,
is said
hold on,
London.
hold on. I just want to
Yeah, I
clarify
know.
Jem's point. I think what Jem's saying is, under normal circumstances, regardless of how it's defined with Fata Morgana and all the rest of it, having exceptional clarity would not be normal circumstances. Is that what you're saying, Jem?
Yeah, well, if you like, I think you're trying to dig him out of the hole a bit there, Nathan. But yeah,
no.
Like,
I'm putting it as a question, so I'm not trying to do anything. Honestly, I want you to re-clarify what you're asking and what you're trying. The point you're making.
All I'm trying to establish is this something that we would call a normal day, or is there something, whatever it may be, exceptional going on?
It was just good visibility.
So can I just intersect and answer that question on your behalf, Anthony?
The thrust of the argument.
You know that video that you released around about 5 weeks ago? That was done on the exact same day as this video.
Sure.
So on that video where you released it and it showed inconclusive, it was a bit hazy, it was fuzzy, it was very indistinct to see exactly what was going on. But when you went another 10 feet higher, suddenly...
No, it wasn't. It was about 2 hours later.
Okay, so it changed. The atmosphere changed.
The atmosphere changed, yeah.
So it wasn't a normal day then, Anthony, was it?
It was just a clear day, Mark.
Well, it wasn't, because Randy's just pointed out to you that your last video wasn't that clear, and you said it was only 2 hours later.
It was clear at the moment.
So it wasn't a normal day,
was it? Footage.
It was just a clear day. That's all it was. Good visibility.
So why can't we see 150 miles anywhere else?
Right. Moisture in the atmosphere.
Moisture in the atmosphere, but you're looking over water, Anthony.
Things.
But it
hold
was
on.
Just hold
on. Why are we on this point, Mark? I just want to clarify. Why aren't we seeing massive amounts of curvature?
We can see 150 miles, Nathan.
Yeah. Why aren't we seeing any curvature? Should be the question we're asking. Why isn't there no curvature there, Mark? Why is there no curve? Where's the curvature? Where's the curvature?
If you stand on the beach in France and you try and look at the White Cliffs of Dover, you can't see the beach. You can only see the top of the cliffs.
Well, we're not looking at the White Cliffs of Dover, Mark. Mark, we're not looking at the White Cliffs of Dover. We are looking at the Isle of Man. And Ireland, what is it, 140 miles away?
What's that got to do with it?
So, well, we're looking at it now, Mark. It has everything to do with it. It's literally on screen for the audience, and you're denying mouth to be heard denying. We're not looking at Dover. We are not looking at Dover. So where is the curvature? Where's the curvature, Mark?
Show me this island.
Where's the curvature? Jem, maybe you can answer.
Established that we're looking at Ireland. So, I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Absolute nonsense, Nathan.
So,
frankly,
gents, I've made the assertion and I've produced the evidence that supports it.
To identify this as Ireland whatsoever. But even if it is Ireland, then there should be a multitude of examples of people seeing 150 miles at sea level.
One up now. We're looking at this one. We're looking at this one right now.
Actually, yes, there are.
That's inconclusive. Where's the compass bearings to show us that's Ireland? Where's your altitude? Where's your coordinates to tell us where exactly you are?
He zooms out and shows you his vantage point. Hold on. He zooms out and shows you his vantage point at the beginning of the video.
And why should we take this at face value when all the other bits of video that other people introduce, you say, oh, we're not accepting that because it's CGI, it's fake. They've gone specifically on a day.
So your position, Mark, is to deny it. So okay, Mark, I just want to get it clear. You're denying that that's Ireland in the background.
I can just dismiss it, Anthony, like you do.
Okay, Mark's opinion is to dismiss it. Fair enough.
You've got no coordinates. You've got no height. You've got nothing, Anthony.
Have you watched the first part of this hangout?
They're just liars.
They're just
joined by a new guest, so I need to introduce
all you ever do is lie.
Sorry, bear with me. Before you all start calling each other liars, bear with me. Just want to introduce epistemology. How are you doing, epistemology? Good to have you here. Say again.
Real quick, where's that observation from? I'm trying to match it up here on Google Earth. Where are you guys observing that from?
St. Bees. It's the same place that my other video was from.
St. Bees? How do you spell that?
Exactly the same place. ST for Saint, and then BES.
Yeah, they're not really identifying how high above the sea level they are.
And it's a bit weird, Anthony, isn't it? You've got two bits of film, but you released the one that's even worse than this one 5 weeks ago with no mention of this.
Yeah, that was intentional.
Oh, was it intentional? So now you're admitting then you're withholding evidence now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that can be dismissed.
Just like NASA.
We can just dismiss this out of hand then.
We only found
that's underhand tactics.
No, it wasn't underhand tactics.
Well, you just admitted you withheld it, so you withheld evidence.
I was waiting for Miles to have a go at me.
No, okay, so you're playing games then. All right, well done,
yeah, we are.
Just admitted you're playing games now. You're not
playing games. Where's the curve?
You're correct.
Where's the curvature, Mark? Where's the
Mark,
curvature?
you're
Let's not get sidetracked on when this evidence was released. Let's focus on whether or not you can dispute that that's Ireland in the background, and if it is Ireland in the background, where's the curvature?
We can prove it's
Where is the curvature?
We can question the
Seem to be missing a couple of miles. We had Brenda a moment. Hold on, Mark. You've had a lot to say. We've got Brenda a moment ago saying we don't know the elevation. Well, we're talking about a couple of miles of missing curve, Brenda. So maybe you'd like to elaborate on your point about the elevation of the camera.
Yeah, nice way to take the evidence off of me, Nathan. Well done.
35 feet.
Well, hang on. Let's just address Mark.
Right.
Ranty, you can address Mark. Was it you or me that found the evidence this afternoon?
It was me that found it this afternoon.
So, did you admit you withheld this evidence, Riley?
I didn't even know it was there. So
You just admitted you withheld it deliberately because you wanted Miles to attack.
No, he didn't.
So,
He said he had
what
it.
is it? You either
on a
withheld
different
it
point.
or you only just found it.
Not
Oh,
true,
we're
Mark.
on a
Mark.
different point, Mark.
It's
Not
not
on
So
this
you
point.
withheld it, so you're playing games. You're not interested in any
You're
truth.
playing games
You just
now,
wanna
Mark.
play
We're looking at
games.
evidence,
Well
and
done,
you're
Riley.
worried about
Well
this
done. Thanks for
nonsense.
admitting that.
What about where the
I withheld
curvature is,
a
Mark? Let's
different
worry about
point.
that. Where's the curve?
Oh no, don't worry about him being not genuine.
Yeah, I'm not
Where's
the slightest
the-
bit worried about it. Couldn't care less, in fact.
Withholding
I'm more
evidence is
concerned
not
with why not a
falsification.
single globe head on the
Mark.
panel yet is to address the missing 2 miles of
He
curvature.
hasn't proved it's
No,
Ireland
you need
yet,
to prove
Nathan.
it's Ireland. Stop
Yeah,
getting
exactly.
excited. You have
Let's go through it
We're
again.
close to establishing that we're looking at Ireland or that we can see 150 miles.
Okay.
Ranty,
You
just
haven't done
show,
that at all.
Yeah,
Fair
sure.
enough,
just
Jem.
prove
You can
that
test
it's
that it's
a
Ireland in the background. Fair enough. We've been joined by
sorry.
WhoTube. How you doing, WhoTube?
That's not
Ranty,
gonna
just
be
Nice
achieved.
picture.
No word from YouTube. WhoTube. No.
Okay,
Ranty,
so
just
I've
prove that it-
identified this village and this village.
Even
I've
they
already identified these.
voting on the Iraq war.
Good to have you, WhoTube.
So
Yeah, I
Which
think
is that?
it is you.
you just get told.
Sounds like him.
Because we've got these
Ranty,
people.
you just need to prove it's Douglas.
That's it.
Oh, right, okay. So just the Douglas side of things.
They
Right,
even take the best out of it.
What's the name of the village that you're contending is the last village that you in your line of sight in your little panographic picture there? That panographic.
Rick Mail. When they kept meeting up on the ground, passing dossiers around and stuff.
We can barely hear you, mate.
Like it's not happening, but it is.
Can anyone
Can't
hear what I'm saying?
No, I can't. I can hear sort of something, but I can't even understand it.
I think it's an audio
Not really.
recording. We can't really make out what the recording is, WhoTube. But maybe it can wait. Either way.
Laugh about it.
It sounds like Dr. Moot or Mr. Moot.
Sounds like a voice changer to me.
We'll come back to him. Because we've got a much more contentious point than whatever's going on with Hoot. So, yeah. Anyway.
Ranty, just prove that it's Douglas
So-
and prove that
Yeah,
that
I'm
tuft
doing-
of
I'm
trees
just-
is the
I'm just
trees.
having a
And
look.
then
You have to
it's-
prove that it's Ireland.
Yeah, we
Okay.
don't want you to prove it's the Isle of Man.
Well, all right, just straft to the left and show that there's no more
True.
line of sight beyond that little cliff.
If you let me speak, I will.
But what you need to do is you need to get your image and you need to overlay it over a similar image, don't you? So we can see, or overlay it over Google Earth so we
And
can
that's
see.
what I'm trying to do right now. If you guys can send me that composite panographic picture, you guys can post that in the green shot somewhere, and then I can do an overlay on that.
Okay.
Oh, you would have thought you
I
guys would
sent
have
it
done
you,
that.
or I might not have sent it you already.
I wonder why you
Give me
haven't.
5 minutes and I'll send it you. Right. So yeah, we know all this. We know that this here, this landmass here, this light, all this thing that's lit up is Douglas. We know that's Douglas because we've triangulated all the towns. This town here it follows along the ridge and the ridge behind it. I've identified this village over here. This one, I've identified this village. All with the terrain, it all matches up perfectly. And obviously,
Well, hold on, matches
this
up
is
with
Douglas.
Oh,
Sorry?
with the Google Earth. Okay, yeah, go on then.
Yeah, and this is Douglas here. Finally, as you can see, it's sort of triangular in shape. It looks kind of triangular from that distance, sort of like higher this end, and it tapers off down this side. But that's just the if you look at the port here, this is the same sort of. It's higher here, and it tapers off down towards the end, the port.
Okay.
Okay.
Show
So
the point out the tuft of trees, Ranty. Because
So, well, yeah, I'm not bothered about that. I'm looking over here. Can you see the background? This is Ireland. This is the mountains behind in Ireland. Here, just to the left-hand side of this. So when I go back to my image, and then this is Douglas here, and then I scroll across, as you can see, this landmass continues all the way, keeps going and keeps going to here.
Yeah, that looks about like it does on Google Earth to me. I don't think you're seeing.
Well, that's because I've increased the size by 3 tools. I'll just lower that back down now to 1.
I mean, what we should be seeing then is a mountain peak.
And then, as you can see, when I come over to Ireland, you can see where the mountain range starts to peak out. Well, what we're clearly seeing is this mountain range, which should be.
Hold on. Can you just remove the word clearly from that sentence?
Okay. Well, more than likely seeing.
Well, we're seeing land that shouldn't be.
What we are seeing is
where's the breaking land between the Isle of Man and Ireland?
You need to have measured it against Google Earth, and you haven't. And I think that's really lame.
Okay,
Randy, can you go back to your picture, please? The actual picture from the day, and show me where the break in the land
gatekeeper.
is.
The break of the land. It doesn't.
Yeah, the break in the land.
Yeah, it doesn't. That is super.
Yeah, but on Google, there's a break in land, Randy, between Isle of Man and Ireland. Why isn't there a break of land in the picture?
Oh, why do you think?
Ranty.
Because you're not seeing Ireland.
Yes. Ranty.
It's still the Isle of Man.
I'm getting there now.
It's right though. That land looks
total
like one
denial.
continuous piece of land. It doesn't look like one bit is behind the other.
And you've got to remember that. What Zoom was you on, Riley?
It's not like the Google picture, so it can't be right.
Well,
it's not about the Google picture. It's supposed to have miles and miles of ocean between one piece of land and the other.
Because you can see it right there.
And it looked like one continuous piece of land. It definitely doesn't look like 2 pieces with a vast stretch of
Well, if
ocean.
you look here,
Right, what Zoom was you on?
83 times. Ranty.
Right, so you're at full Zoom then.
Yeah, Ranty, listen,
right, well, that's still the Isle of Man then. That's still the Isle of Man then. Right,
well, let me just put another line measure in here.
Well, that's quite clearly the Isle of Man. 83 Zoom, there's no way that's Ireland, mate. No way.
So what part of the Isle of Man is it?
Well, the edge of the Isle of Man going on from Douglas. If that's Douglas, then that's just the rest of the Isle of Man. There's no break between the Isle of Man and Ireland, and that's why there's no break.
Mark, there's no more land after Douglas.
What?
That's the point. There's no more land after Douglas. That's the point, Mark.
Right, okay.
In your line of sight,
so
Ireland is behind it. There's not going to be an ocean between it because it's behind it in your line of sight.
Look, it's a whole load of land stretching out right off the edge
exactly.
I'm browsing around here. I'm almost positive that you're misidentifying.
So there is land on the end then. Well, thank you very much for lying.
Well, we've already addressed that.
Not inconsistent with the evidence, Mark. No.
Well, it is because you're at 83 Zoom, Anthony. There's no break in the land, which there should be. Ireland and the Isle of Man are not that close together that there'd be no break in the land.
Okay, hold on. I think Ranty, sorry
nothing.
to interrupt. Ranty, if you could you zoom out and go over the outline of the Isle of Man, which I know you know very well. So zoom out as opposed to in. So
but not well enough to have overlaid it.
No, on the actual picture. Sorry, Ranty. On the actual picture itself, can you get the widest image? So zoom out as much as possible, and then go over the line of what is the Isle of Man. Do you know what I'm talking about? So sort of go over it with your mouse when it's zoomed right out.
Okay.
This is something someone can take a screen grab of from the Hangout and then compare.
Hold on a minute. It's just a composite image we're looking at here.
Well, it has to be because it was.
Oh, it has to be. That's great. I love it. Oh, the irony.
I didn't know. Ireland. Right, Jem. It is ironic. You're right.
Well, it has to be.
It has to be, does it?
It does. Okay, here we go.
So
we're getting the 2 up now, so we can make the actual
better
comparison.
than being photoshopped.
Well done. You're doing really well, Ranty.
This is the Isle of Man here.
I think he composed it in.
Hold on, we're getting to the crux of it
you
now,
can get
Jem.
a screen
Come on.
grab of that. Anybody? And this is
He means the photo.
the Isle of Man here that Anthony produced. And I took composites and pieced them together. There's the start of the Isle of Man. Well, the start of that part of the Isle of Man. There's the highest part of the Isle of Man here. And here, over this side here, is Douglas. There's the village that runs along the the mountain range. I can show you that on
right, before you do,
Right, well,
zoom, sorry, Ranty, just before you do, can you go back to the image and just zoom back out once more time? I know you're trying to compare them and get them lined up with each other, but I just want to make it just to show that how much land there is beyond Douglas in scale.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to see. Yeah, that's good, Nathan. Yeah, can you point to where Douglas is and then point to where the end of the land is?
Yeah,
Exactly.
remember the claim was that Douglas was right on the end. There was no more land.
Correct.
Right.
When
so,
it's obvious, there's probably about a quarter of the Isle of Man in length. Beyond it,
Right, let me just put increase.
maybe
that
not
to
a quarter, but a sixth.
It's a fair chunk.
right, then, so that's not no land, then, is it, Anthony?
Right. So, what would you say that is as a proportion of the whole thing? About a fifth.
So that's Douglas there. That's the start of that chunk of Isle of Man, and that's where the landmass ends here.
And now let's look at it overhead on Google Earth, if that's okay.
Okay.
What, and you're saying, what part of that is the island, then, are you saying?
So we're looking at
everything after Douglas.
Put a thing
Well,
in
hold up.
here.
You can't say there's land after Douglas and then say there's no land after Douglas, and we're looking at Ireland. What is it?
Can we look at the Isle of Man from above, and then we could see it, Douglas, and then we could see how much land is beyond it, then. Or to the left of it.
So I've just put that line in there. That's basically the start of the landmass. Okay.
And then the one on far left, the white one far left, is Douglas.
That one's Douglas, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably maybe about maybe a
Not
bit less
looking
than
good, boys.
there.
Not looking good.
Yeah.
Not looking good.
But don't forget, though.
I think it looks like there's about a
looking
fifth.
good.
I think it looks like there's about a fifth of the Isle of Man to the left of it.
You really
Ranty,
want me to
can you show
believe
the
that beyond that
elevation of the land
left-hand
that's
white
beyond-
line there is a fifth of the island? Just bring it back up. Sorry,
Something like that, yeah. Not far.
Ranty, can
Right.
you just bring up Google Earth one more time, please? Sorry.
So we
Yeah.
clearly
So hold
smashed
on.
it and
Beyond,
claimed
let's
that
just
there
get the
was no
audience to be
land
clear
after
about
that.
what Jem's saying.
Oh.
Beyond the far left white line,
Hold on a minute.
there is
Hold on. It's the important thing is, we are at the right angle here as well, aren't we?
Yeah.
beyond
All
that
these
white
lines are going
line.
in the
Jem
right
is proposing that 1/5 of the island.
Yep. I'd say
Okay,
about that.
fair
yeah,
enough.
something like that.
Ranty, can you show the elevation of that land, please? That's beyond.
Well, what
Douglas to the
you
left?
put a figure on it, Nathan? What do you think is beyond there?
Negligible.
I can measure it on
But
my
it's
screen.
not a number, is it?
I can
There
measure it
isn't
with
a
a tape
number
measure if he gets it back up. Oh no, like
I-
mine.
I've
There you
said it
go.
fifth, and we've all
Ranty's on the case for you,
Could you
Jem.
put
Ranty's
your
well on the
number on?
case. Let's have a look what it really is.
While Ranty's doing whatever he's doing, I'm gonna find out what the elevation of that low-lying land is that you guys think is the 1/5. Well, it's all less than 100 feet. Well, some of
more
it's
like a
like 20
sixth.
feet.
Right, so that's 30 along the bottom. Hang on, let me just get this right. 30. So give or take, we're looking at 24. So around about, just about a fifth. That was a pretty good guess,
Look at
actually,
that.
to be fair.
Well, look at that. We've gone from no land to a fifth of the island's land. Wow.
Yeah, but it's Mark. It's all 40 feet.
Wow.
It's all between 30 and 70 feet.
So
It don't make
let's
no
get a-
difference, does it? You claimed there was no land after it, and now we've just found there's a fifth of the island after it.
Well,
But the
no,
that
no,
fifth
no,
of
no.
the-
So
that
it just goes to show you.
No, the island is taking up-
ridiculous.
He's measuring it
The
now.
island is
He's
taking
literally
up
measuring it now,
fifth
Mark.
of
He's
the
measuring it as we
6
speak.
parts of that photo, and the rest you see there is what you see right there between the red lines, Ireland.
Yeah, Arwen, please come on, man. You've
And
been
It's
at
called
it.
perspective. Look, it's
No, it's
the lines
not.
are based
Don't be
on
stupid, Arwen.
The only
where it's photographed from.
possibly believe that was Ireland is if you have a massive confirmation bias.
No, you just have a massive-
No, just
I-
look at the picture and just
No, you don't.
conclude
Arwen.
there's
All right,
no,
then, Arwen.
no sea there.
Show me something in your country that's 150 miles away that you can see.
I'm going to need to turn you all down just to do the introduction. How are you doing, Lewis Hackett? We've been joined by Lewis. How are you doing, Lewis? Good to have you here. Nice to see you.
You see two objects.
You guys have all been turned down because I'm doing an intro. How are you doing, Lewis Hackett? Good to have you.
Really good, Nathan. Thank you.
Pleasure to have you. Good to see you.
Hey, quick point. Is this the Douglas that we're talking about right here?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I did
So
one in here. I'm going to post it in here, but that is looking at his crop. It perfectly matches the terrain for the entire Isle of Man, and so that is the entire Isle of Man. That is not Ireland.
Thank you.
But can you
It's the
identify
zoom. It's because you're zoomed 83%, Anthony. That is
Can
why you're
can anybody
biggest
identify
island
the
now.
land that goes beyond Douglas? That's the question.
Douglas is up here, Anthony.
Look at where Douglas is, Anthony. Look at all that land to the left of Douglas.
Yeah, but look at the angle.
It doesn't make no difference, Anthony. There's no break in the. Show me the break in the land between Isle of Man and Ireland.
Right.
So are you saying that we're seeing it? So hang on, wait a minute. Are you saying that we're seeing this part of the land here?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
And
This
possibly,
is, right, just a minute. This is 50 miles away, and the elevation is only 16 meters.
and possibly some of the land behind it, and to the top right, possibly some of that as well.
Actually, that's
It's
a good
hard
point,
to
Randy.
tell.
So
Yeah,
we
this is
can
even
compare,
worse.
though. Hold on, Jem. Sorry. So we can now compare the elevation comparatively with the photograph to see if that matches 16 meters. What you're saying is this land mass that's jutting out. We can compare that.
In elevation.
6 meters. Yeah, it's ridiculously low.
So if you're admitting that we're seeing this at 50 miles, 6 meters, because this is a continuous landmass here, this 6 meter elevation.
Good point. Where's the
That's
curvature?
not the only landmass beyond Douglas.
Right.
Is it? Is it not?
Right. We could be
Okay,
seeing
would you like me to
something
show
Do
you?
not look at the map at where Douglas is.
Yeah.
Then why are you saying it's out there on like the very southern coast of the Isle of Man?
This is the Isle of Man. This is it here.
Why are you saying Douglas is that down at the southern end?
We know why they're saying that, Curve, because they're dishonest. We know that. They've had it 5 weeks. And they couldn't even. And they've had it 5 weeks, and they couldn't even tell that it was land past Douglas. That's how intelligent these people
It never
are.
occurred to me to overlay it.
No.
Just listen, Curve, change the orientation of Isle of Man so that it's consistent with the way we're looking at it. Because you've got it side on and you see.
While these guys are having a little bit of a fiddle and a faff with their photographs, I'm going to do a few links as we have approximately 1 hour left on this broadcast. If you are new to this channel or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show while it is live, and most importantly, if you would like to join the debate to express your views on the shape of the Earth, there is a link in the info box below this video. With the page you are currently listening to on mute, simply click that link to join the show and express your views on the shape of the Earth. There are a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number 1, please do not swear. If you do, you will be ejected. And if you are, please do not try to rejoin the show using sock accounts. You will be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please share the show on social media as it increases the live audience, of course, which in turn increases the likelihood of a more diverse panel. And one last time, if you are new to this channel or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate.
Where's the break in the land in that
I'll
photo,
show you.
Anthony?
I'll show you.
What, in the photo?
Yes.
All right, well, show me then.
Nathan, would you share my screen, Nathan, please?
Yep.
Right. I need the video. Hang on, let me get the video. Just give me 1 sec.
Hey, real quick, approximately where is this St. B's place?
Hold on a second, guys. Guys, I did the screen grab. Let me show you guys something. I did the screen grab side by side. I posted it in the green chat, and you can see that the contour of the Isle of Man perfectly matches what is shown in Google Earth for the Isle of Man contour.
I think that you're looking at it from the wrong orientation, dude.
No,
I think you're about 90 degrees out.
If you're looking at it from the wrong orientation, it wouldn't match perfectly, but we can look at that later once you get done with what you're showing us, Anthony.
Yeah, let me see.
On Google Earth, you will see that the very far left side of the Isle of Man, at the back of the Isle of Man, you have some very high elevation points on the Isle of Man in that area, and that's what we're seeing.
All right, let me show you why that's incorrect. Right.
Why? What's incorrect?
What he's just said. I'm going to focus in on Douglas, and I'm
What
going to
did he
show
just
the point
say?
that he's saying it's still the Isle of Man, but I'm going to show you now why it's not.
Well, the area that you're calling Douglas, I'm not convinced is Douglas, but clearly the texture matches perfectly. I posted the picture side by side.
Just let me finish what I'm doing, and then we'll show that what you've described is a perfect match. It clearly isn't a perfect match. So give me a sec. I'm trying to deal with the point that Mark's asked.
Clearly again.
Yeah, clearly. I'm going to stand by the word clearly.
Yeah, that picture looks pretty much of a match to me.
Well, it would do to you, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, 'cause I'm honest, Anthony. Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
It's labeled.
Also blind.
Epistemology, I'm going
It's
to let you present this in
labeled.
just a moment. So just if you bear with Anthony, we've
I'm
got
honest,
another hour
Anthony,
left.
see,
So
you can't point to one lie I've told, but I can point to many.
before we get into
you've
the
told.
ad homs, let's just get all the evidence out of the way. We will get to epistemologies side by side once Anthony's done, I promise. We've got plenty of time.
Right, this is the bit that I wanted Ranty to labour, and Ranty didn't realise the significance of it, and I'm going to labour it now because this is the point. We have the land that's here that blocks out the land, the buildings that are here, okay? We also have this tuft of trees that are clearly identifiable in the evidence. So when we go back to the evidence, we see the triangular shape of like Douglas. This is the thing. This point here represents the leading edge of this land here, and that's why it's blocked out. Okay, the tuft of trees that we see on the top here is representing this tuft of trees here, and then watch how the land drops. It comes down a little bit and then drops. So imagine it comes down a little bit, which is that point
Don't
there.
look nothing like that, Anthony, man.
Why aren't we looking at it at the same angle?
Yeah, and it don't even look nothing like that bit of land.
Go back to where you draw that yellow line.
Where's the break in the land in the picture you were supposed to be showing me?
I'm just
That's
about
what
to
the
show.
article-
Look at all
I'm
that
just about to show you.
side there. Look on the.
I'm just about to show you. Bear with me.
Land on the left-hand side there, Anthony.
Just bear with me. Let me show him where the break in the land is.
Just
The trees are here. Can you see it drops and then it rises and then the land drops off here, right?
Ah, okay.
Not a paranoia.
Wait. Just wait. The land
Oh
drops there.
my
drops off
god!
the-
No wonder no one takes flat Earth seriously when you got clowns like this presenting evidence.
236 degrees. Hang on a sec. Let me put this back into 236 degrees over here. So 236. And that takes you back to the tuft, just to the edge of the tuft of the trees. Now watch what happens when we go beyond it. So there's the tuft of tree. I need to get a bit closer.
I reckon maybe Ranty did get them Ken Burns.
Are you drawing this from directly from the opposite shoreline, this yellow line?
Yeah. I'll
Well,
show you.
that
No
picture, the
coordinates
picture
for
you're
where
showing
exactly
us.
where he was. He's
Let
got
me
no
finish.
directions.
Let me
That
finish.
picture you're showing us wasn't taken from the shoreline. It was significantly further off the shore.
Let me finish what I'm showing. Okay. So we've got the triangular bit of stuff here.
Oh,
There's
you're
the tuft
set
of
up
land.
wrong from the get-go, man.
I'm not, dude. Just wait. I'll show you in a sec. There's the triangular bit of thing. There's the tuft of land. There's the bit where it stops. Anything that goes beyond this point here is not Isle of Man.
That's rubbish.
And here's the evidence.
That is rubbish. There's not evidence. There's no break in the land. You said you
There
were
it
going to
is.
show me the break in the land. You've shown me a picture and you put your mouse over it and said, no, there it is, when there's no break in the land.
There's them trees. There's
No,
them
don't be
trees.
stupid.
It comes
Riley.
down and
Don't be
drops
stupid.
sharply.
You make yourself look a fool, Riley.
Dropping down, comes down to
Making
there.
yourself
Goes no
look a fool.
further than that. Now look at these buildings here. All right.
I mean, it looks much more like you have a picture that is not taken from the same angle we're looking at it on Google Earth from. So
Okay.
maybe
Well,
we
that's
should
it.
fix that. And maybe we should fix the initial point. Like we should align this yellow line with where the picture was taken from. Maybe we should do that.
236.8 it was. 236.
So can you show us your compass coordinates to show us that is the direction you was looking in then?
And look at these lights here. 1, 2, 3.
What did you
4.
do to establish the location you were
2,
viewing
3.
from?
Yeah.
I don't see any lights that you just pointed out, Anthony. The lights you just pointed out, I don't see them. I don't see them.
No, what are you pointing? You see?
Yeah,
You
you're
don't
not
see lights
pointing
there?
at anything. You're not pointing. I don't. What?
Oh.
What lights?
There next to the scuba diver.
Yeah, they're right next to the scuba diver, so we've seen them.
Yeah, look,
And
there's a
just
CGI
to
bird
address-
in the sky. CGI bird.
Divers there to help the astronauts.
Just to address
All right.
Lewis, that's exactly from where it was stood, bar, well, maybe a couple.
All right. Well, zoom out on the picture, right? The original picture. Zoom out on that original picture.
I think I have to get it from earlier in the picture. That's about as far back as I go.
And look, all one bit of land.
All that land there doesn't exist.
You're not. You're. This is not the proper angle. You're much farther. Let's go back to the zoom back out.
This is exactly the
Where's
angle.
north? So you're much farther. It looks like you're much farther north than you're claiming.
So when we move out to the left, that's why there's no break in the land, because it
You mean
overlaps.
from the location where he took the video? Because he actually played
Yeah, I
it
think the
at the
location
start
he
of his
took this
there
video
you go.
from was much farther north.
Before you even have to play it from there, the video he first released from St. Bees, he did a panoramic, and he also saw that little cove to the. If you go back to the start, Anthony, he also showed the cove. You see the cove on the right?
That's
land
the edge
mass?
of the land.
Yeah,
There's
so he
the,
also
there's the
had
oil
that.
platform.
He also had that in his first video where he did a full panoramic showing you the caravan site to the right.
Is there an address? Is there an address so that we can corroborate in this video?
I don't doubt that it's St. Bees. I think that town that you are calling, that's not the town that you think it is, actually.
It is. Trust me. I took the picture.
No, we don't trust you. That's the old point.
Next, I mean, it'd be really great if you could video some addresses that are near this location so we could corroborate that, because it really doesn't. It looks like you're much farther north than where you're claiming.
Okay, well, on this particular video, which is taken from the same place.
Yeah, I think Douglas, what you're calling Douglas, is actually on Mora, I think. Believe it or not.
Yeah, look, there you go. That's just panning around a little bit further round.
All right, now let's go back to the Google Maps.
You want to see St. Bees?
Yeah, it looks like you're probably about maybe 50, 60 feet up there.
35.
I can't be 35. The top of those roofs are about 25, 30 feet, and you're way above those roofs that are.
It wouldn't matter if he was 150 feet.
Do you know what? You can have it. I was going to say you can have it anywhere along this beach. It isn't going to change what we're looking at anywhere along.
Zoom out a minute. Zoom out just a bit. Not too far, but. Now go up north. Go north on the coast here.
You're calling Douglas is actually, I think it's probably the area around Glenmora. Is what I'm guessing. Looking at based on the proportion that you're cutting into of if you look at the side profile of it and what percentage of the island you're moving.
It would have to be here somewhere to be able to cut out the bottom part of South Island. Because look at the parallax in the background. That's where I was. That's where I'd have to be according to what you're.
I don't think there can be any doubt whatsoever that you're in the same location, because you've done a video that's been up for 6 weeks showing the same spot. So it's preposterous to say that you weren't where you were.
Well, I just want to see a bird's eye view of the coastline. I just want to see
and all sorts in it. So
Lewis, you can put that anywhere you want along that beach. It isn't going to change the level of distance. That I mean, there's only so much of the beach that
I'll go do it myself. I'll go find a bird's eye view myself.
Well, I'll give you the bird's eye view, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
That video's been debunked.
You're not giving it.
Nah, it's not been debunked.
Okay.
You need to identify
You haven't proved it's island.
Go back to where you were.
Prove it's island first, Anthony.
I know. You to show us that it is actually island.
Right. I'll do it again for the ones that weren't paying attention.
Apart from assert that it has to be. You haven't.
I'll do it again for the ones that were not paying attention.
No. All that does is identify places in the Isle of Man, and we're not sure you're doing that correct.
And that's.
Well, can you see the landmass behind it? Can you see the landmass in the background now?
Look how little bit of island.
Do you see how it traverses along the water's edge? Just as you would
on Google Earth it's island, but it's not island in the picture.
Somebody snatched that as a soundbite.
So where is this supposedly?
I mean, how do we know that you're looking in that specific direction of that yellow line and not?
Because you can pick out Douglas and you can pick out the tuft of trees.
Well, I'm just pleased that
trees. Pick out a tuft of trees, man. Oh, God.
How many tufts of trees do you think there are?
To argue that you see in Douglas 50 miles away. That's great.
Landmark.
Rather than see island. You would rather agree that it's Douglas at 50 miles away than admit to seeing Ireland at 150.
Yes, because no one has ever seen 150 miles, Rancy, when they're standing on the beach. Don't be so stupid.
That's a good point, Mark. So, hold on. Sorry a second, Ranty. Just 1 second. I just want to get this in. So, if they're proposing that we're seeing something that's 17 meters above sea level, should that be missing at 35 feet?
No, I don't think that's Douglas. His claim is that that's Douglas. I don't think
determine what height they're at where they're taking the picture from either. So,
well,
the best thing to do would be to go back with a compass.
We've shown evidence that it is.
It's a typical flat earther experiment where nothing can be verified.
Yeah.
No, all of it can be verified. What are you talking about?
We don't know exactly where you're standing. We don't know what direction you're facing.
Well, luckily,
we don't know what altitude you're stood at.
Well,
go back with a compass. Get something that tells us your longitude and latitude, so we can pinpoint exactly where you are. Show it on camera. Show the direction show the bearing on the compass, so we know exactly what direction you're looking in. Then you might have an argument, Anthony.
Mark,
At the moment, it's just conjecture.
There's Snaefell. You can triangulate all of this. And
Look, you can hardly see anything in the picture.
You haven't triangulated anything.
Yeah, you said you couldn't triangulate.
Sorry, those
That's what you've done.
Villages.
So where do you think you took this picture from?
Where do I think I took the picture from?
Yeah, where do you say you took it from?
I took it from the beach and just above the cliff in the same place that I took the previous video from. If you've been stalking me properly, you'd know.
I'm not. Yeah, but I don't stalk you. So, but what city, what town is this near?
St. Bees.
St. Bees.
Right. What I'll do, just for the benefit of the Americans that are in, you can see what St. Bees looks like from the coast.
I'm looking at it right now. I mean, I don't know. You don't have to be so patronizing.
Why don't you screen
No,
share?
I'm just trying to help you.
Why don't you screen share epistemology's picture? Because that proves the case that it's the owner, man. It's such a match. You couldn't get a better match. Why don't you just screen share that? You got something to be scared of?
Nothing at all.
He's not sharing it yet, Mark. As soon as he does, I'll put it up.
Well,
So
I've got it. Can you share it epistemology, please? Because that's a really good picture.
This is where I was on St. Bees,
I've got it.
and then the picture was taken up on the cliffs.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my little Google Earth person into Douglas and see what his coast looks like.
I don't see the link from epistemology. Where is it?
It's in the
green chat.
Screen share.
Only honest people have the green chat, Anthony.
Oh, you won't have it, Mark. What about blind people? Do blind people have it as well?
I have got it. I've seen it, and it blows you out of
Cognitively
the
dissonant.
water. But we might withhold it for 5 weeks just for fun. Eh?
Can you actually screen share it just so I can?
Yeah.
Click on otherwise, I have to leave the hangout.
If you can screen share, Jeremy. Wow.
Who's got it up? Is it you, Mark? Is it Jeremy?
No, Jeremy's got it.
Oops. There we go.
I can't zoom in on it.
It's quite hard to see, actually.
The contrast is just really low on the.
Yeah, it's very low, but you can see a mountain, a peak, the highest point here.
Yeah, but you can also see that land is still present.
Wait a
There.
minute,
It doesn't exist.
And the land goes all the way to here. Look.
No,
Look at
that's
that
in the
for a match,
background.
man.
That's in the background. That's in the background, my friend.
Yeah, I agree.
That's island in the
Clearly
background
stops.
there.
What do you mean there's island in the background?
That's
The
island
Google
in the
image he has
background.
up has island in the
what?
background as well.
In what
Yeah,
picture's
one of the
island in the
things, by the
background?
way,
Am I looking at the same
this
thing?
is
you guys
the
are?
picture, guys, just one of the
Probably
big obvious
not.
ones is you can't see the very low flatlands that are on the very north end of the Isle of Man, which you can see in the Google Earth shot. Because
You
it's
mean
from a higher elevation.
the ones at 6 meters from 50 miles away? Those low flatlands.
No, they're on the south side. He means the north side.
No. He's on about saying on past Douglas you have the 6 meter flats that stretch to the sea, and they're 50 miles away. So you're saying that we've seen them instead?
What I'm saying is all that land.
No,
north
just
of
being
Ramsey
honest.
that you're seeing here in this shot, which is where that where the mountain starts on the right of the picture, where the terrain starts on the side of the picture. You can't see that in your shot because it's very low level lands. All that land north of Ramsey.
Well, can I just say for a start, if you actually look at the image on the bottom that you've superimposed over, it's clearly around about.
It's not clearly,
It's 10% out for a start.
Yeah, I did it quick. It's probably not perfectly lined up, but it just shows that the contour.
How dishonest of you!
But also, you've got. I know where Douglas is on this image, on the top image, and you still have that land in the background that shouldn't be there.
Where do you think Douglas is in your shot, in your panorama?
Far left.
Oh, I'm sorry, not Douglas. I meant
Okay,
Ramsey.
hang on. Let me just try.
Ramsey.
So,
because there's a
if
whole
you were-
bunch of land north of Ramsey that we can't see in this shot.
Yeah, but Ramsey's far right.
If we
Right,
were
but it
standing,
looks like the terrain drops into the ocean, where there's actually a whole lot of terrain north of that on the Google Earth that you can see here.
I can't really see where the end is.
Can you see my composite?
Here.
Can you see my composite at the bottom? You've got a full image on the left, and then you've got the image next to that. That's the second image in on the left. Well, around about 3/4 of the way through that is where Douglas is.
Right, hang on. What he's saying is, at the north side where Douglas is, he needs to look at the video because the video shows the land that's there. That he's asking, why is it not there?
Okay, right. You see my composite at the bottom.
Yeah.
You see the composite? You've got one full image, and then you've got another image next to it. Okay, so if you go to the second image in, it's around about 3/4 of the way across that. That's where Douglas is.
No, Douglas is on the north side.
Why can't we see the northern part of the Isle of Man in your composite?
Because it's chopped off, isn't it? It's been cropped out of the image. If
well, I mean, it looks like an end into the ocean. It doesn't look like there's like
You,
there's
what they
land that was cut off.
you just cropped out just the land.
Right, I'm gonna have to share. Let me.
Could I share actually? I'd like to address just something on that.
I mean,
point.
Let me share for the minute, and I'll address the bit that's that Ramsey seems to be missing in the photo.
I have a point after you guys get done.
Right, am I sharing it in the minute? No. So share my screen, and I need that one. All right. So can you see my screen?
Yeah, you're sharing to the audience. Click on him locally if you want to see him in the Hangout.
Yeah. Epistemology needs to click locally so that you can see it. Epistemology, can you see it? Hello?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to identify this bit of land here, this like...
Wait, no, all I see is your desktop.
Yeah, I just see your desktop.
Oh, hang on. Have I done something wrong?
Conversation with Patricia.
Nah, I've done the wrong screen, haven't I? Shit.
Yep.
Hang on, I need to minimize that.
Wait, who pays you how much there?
Let's try that again. So that one.
So that composite's all right then. We can present a composite picture of the Earth now, can't we?
It's the only way that I was able to get the full terrain, and it was not for any other purpose.
So would you agree then, Ranty? Would you agree then composites
show you
aren't fake?
scale. It was
composites fake images, Ranty?
It was simply to give you a scale.
Ranty,
it was to prove
composites fake images.
Yeah, the fake images, but we're doing it to prove the land, not to prove that
so they're fake images. So why are you presenting fake
images
then?
to prove the land. Good job.
Right, are you seriously going to distract from this point, or can I carry on?
No, I'm just highlighting the hypocrisy that runs rife with you. Like,
all right, well, let me know.
Let's just point out, Mark, that hold on, Mark. At any point, someone can take one of those individual photos. So, you know.
Are we
done?
done?
So we can present a picture of the globe then, and that can be taken as evidence.
Right. As long as you understand that just because something's composite doesn't mean it's fake.
That's all my point was. You know
Yeah, but
what I
we're
mean?
not
It's
trying
not
to
hard
prove
to accept that, is it,
Oh.
Riley?
Yeah, it is when you're trying to prove that the existence of the ball.
It's normally us that tries to take it to NASA and space. It's amazing. What a role reversal that the globe is taking to NASA. Amazing.
Okay, great logic there. Great
We're
logic.
not trying to prove the existence with the photos, are we? We're simply trying to prove. Right, here we go.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. That's exactly what you're proving.
No, right. I'm not even going to address that point because it's complete distraction. Right.
Well,
Epistemology.
I mean, the last time I decided not to address one of your points, I got ridiculed and laughed at. So, I mean, there's another hypocrisy.
No, you get ridiculed and laughed at for more than that, though.
Yeah, I know, that's an even bigger hypocrisy.
Right. Let's stay on track. Let's deal with the land that's supposed to be missing.
Let's do that.
Epistemology. You see this bit over here on the left-hand side of the video? Would you agree that that's this bit here?
I can't tell what I'm looking at from that one.
Yeah, you got to zoom out on your other shot. Give us reference.
Yeah, just zoom in, Anthony. You zoom in, you do see it very clear, much clearer than that.
No, on the other shot.
I know. Hang on a sec. I'm just getting to the point where I can zoom in on the video. There we go. There we go. So can you see that looks like a mouth, if you want for a better word?
A mouth.
A mouth, yeah. Would you agree that that's that?
No.
I can't really tell because that's to the very left, whereas this is on the very right of the Isle of Man.
Yeah, well, this is on the right of the Isle of Man that he's looking at now.
Let's go from Snaefell Pike. There's Snaefell, this is Snaefell, the highest point. This bit here. This is Snaefell there, and then the land tapers off, and it comes down to the point where it disappears.
Oh, yep, stop. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Exactly. Go back that way.
Oh, I'm doing it. Hang on.
Okay, so you see the land, how it tapers off there, and I'm assuming this is where you started the panorama. Stop there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
that's where you started the panorama there. Okay. Yeah. I don't see any land from that point all the way over.
Yeah, it looks like
all
that.
The land here was missing.
This land is only 50 feet tall. Okay.
Right. We don't
Now,
see it.
Yeah.
You know how Soundly's bridge bends back on itself and disappears behind the mirage that you guys call curvature? Well, can you see?
It is curvature.
Can you see how there's like a layer of? I'll try and stop it there. Can you see how there's like a layer of sky that the land is hovering on?
Yeah, air's dirty, is it?
Yeah, that band of refraction is what that land is sat behind.
Can we get some air filters from the Isle of Man?
Can you see also?
As long as we understand the
So
difference this is the northern side of the Isle of Man now.
Yeah, this is the part that I'm looking at here. I'm looking to the right of this bit here. This is this part, okay? But can you see how there's that light blue band?
Let me tell you, here's the part that makes no sense, okay? So that northern part of the island that we can't see is, I'm looking on Google Earth here from your St. B's location, is about 10 miles closer to you than Douglas is.
Yeah, but it's only 40 feet off the sea level, and can you see the band? Look.
So is the majority of Douglas. So it makes no sense that we can see Douglas.
Look, it does because can you see this
water in that part of the island? That's why I'm telling you that's not Douglas that you're playing.
Listen,
This is probably answering a lot of questions. You see, because when you're looking south from his location, he's looking slightly south, he gets a much clearer picture, and when he pans to the north, his image deteriorates to this type of conditions. So this is all on the same video.
Right, let me answer. Look, there's a blue line that is the same color as the sky that goes immediately above the hard horizon line.
Oh, so you say it's a reflection.
Mirage.
That's where the land is that you're asking about. That's where the land is. It's behind that. You can't see.
Oh, so you're saying there is refraction now.
It's curvature. Land is obscured.
No, it's the first perspective line.
We agree there. That's my whole point. But my point is, how can we see Douglas, which is at the same elevation as the northern part of the island?
Because it's behind this band.
He's looking to the north from here, whereas he was looking slightly to the south.
Douglas.
Where is Douglas in the picture that you're claiming?
Douglas is on the other side of the island.
In that particular picture here, show me where you're claiming Douglas is. In this picture
Douglas
here,
isn't in that picture. That's Ramsey.
Well, but you've been claiming Douglas was on the picture a minute ago.
So is this video taken from St. B's?
This is on the south side of the island, and this is Douglas. Okay. What I was just showing epistemology then is Ramsey, and it's the point where the land is missing, which is when I get back to it. Ramsey is just behind here. It's at the bottom end of the cliff. I'll show you. There's Ramsey. I don't know. It's not coming up with the name. There you go. There's Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just as the mountainside drops off there.
Beneath the curvature.
Which is there. No. It's sat behind the band of refraction, like what Soundly's bridge does. No. Behind the refraction. Yeah, but you can see clearly here. Let me go back to this little bit here. There. Can you see how it bends away like Soundly's bridge does?
Like with the curvature?
No, mirage.
Like the atmospheric effect that I'm telling you.
It's sitting behind the curvature.
It's sat on top of a band of refraction, dude. A little tiny thin band of refraction.
That's what curvature looks like, man.
No, that's what it looks like in your mind, but it's actually.
Well, I see everything.
Just for clarity, we've got the entirety of the Isle of Man, or we did have
no significant atmospheric effects going on. We agreed that at the start. Now you're saying is one that's significant.
It's not significant, but also I want to just point out this little sticky black thing.
It's a thing you're claiming. So,
are there any boats? Are there any boats that go between the Isle of Man and like a ferry, for example?
Let me just show this as well. There's a little black sticky up thing that's here.
You're making this up as you go along.
I recommend you videotape one of the ferries one of these times and just see if you can see it the whole way across, because you won't be able to.
You know,
it's just hilarious. You spend weeks saying there's no such thing as refraction, and then you just come out with it. Oh, well, this is refraction.
No.
So can we deal with the?
You are utterly clueless. You are, Riley.
No, guys, you got.
I wonder you get called dishonest so much, Riley.
Bumbling, rambling, ad hoc. Just
the other point that I had earlier,
guys. You guys think refraction is bending over the curve of the Earth. We guys think refraction.
No, that's what you think we think it is. We have a very clear understanding of what it is, and we're not trying. You know,
Lewis, you don't know your left shoe from your right shoe.
I can only speak for myself. The other point that I had, Anthony, was go plop your guy on Google Earth over in Douglas, right? put him on, let's say, for example, let's find a road that's on the coast in Douglas.
Just to let you know as well, look at this little sticky up thing here. Just so happens to correspond.
Just do what I'm saying for a moment, all right?
thing
Humor me, Anthony. Are you going to humor me?
See, we humor you every time you come on.
We've humored you this whole time. Come on.
Right, so you want me to go back to Douglas?
Yeah, and go to the Google Maps, right? Go do that.
I'm at Google. Do you
And
mean Google Earth or Google?
Plop your stick man, right? The guy who you can put in Street View. Plop him down on, where am I? Center Promenade, right? Center Promenade at the intersection of Center Promenade and Broadway.
You're gonna have to guide me to it because I don't have road names on.
All right. So do you see the Sail Gallery or the Manx Museum?
Am I doing this on Google Earth or on Google Maps?
Either one should work.
I don't know.
I'm doing it on Maps. I'm personally
I'll
doing it.
I'll post a link here. Just click that link. Just click that link. Click that link that I just put in there. That's a Google Street View from Douglas.
Yes, that's good. That works.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
Just go ahead and click that link that I put in there.
Right now, why can't you see the coast?
So am I in the right area now, dude?
Yeah.
So if I just get my man and drop him down in there, yeah?
No. Click the link that epistemology put. I mean, yeah, that's fine too. Why? This is fine. Why can't you see the land across there?
83 times zoom, dude.
No. Even when you're zoomed out in the video you showed, you could see land from the Isle of Man.
Are you really asking why we can't see the land from Google Street View? Is that really your
Earlier with your camera not zoomed in?
You just
could see the Isle of Man. No, just stop talking over me. Stop it.
Right,
Stop. Stop. Earlier in your own video, before you zoomed in, you could clearly see the Isle of Man. You could clearly see it, right?
Yeah, but not without zooming down this far.
No, you weren't zoomed in initially. You could clearly see it. Go back to your video. Go back to your video.
Let's see.
Go back to your video.
Hang on, let me just see if I can get a man where you're saying that there is no.
You just had a man there. You just had him there. I said it was adequate.
Let's see if we can see what you're saying we can't see. Oh, there's a big thing in the way. To be fair, Lewis, it's not really fair of us to ask for the Street View car camera.
Sure it is. All right, fine.
They're fisheye lens.
Let's pick the closest. No, they're not. When it's not a fisheye lens.
Why don't you just address the video?
Pick the closest, right. Like, zoom all the way. All right. You can clearly see land there. You can clearly see it.
Yeah, you can only see the peak of the mountain. You can't see.
Right, but you can see it. You can see it.
You have bionic eyes.
I have good enough eyes to see it in your video here.
You can only just about see the top of the mountain, dude.
Yeah, and it's good enough. But on the Google Earth, not zoomed in, you can't see it at all.
So you
so your proof that it doesn't exist
go to Google
is
Earth.
a photograph where you
Go to
can't
Google
see
Earth.
it. That's really nice.
Go to Google Earth and plop your man down right where you say.
So
that
is
you're
your
in St. B's.
So the way you
go to Google Earth and do it on opposite banks, right? And from the St. B's side, you can see the mountain. But from the Douglas side, you can't see St. B's.
And you don't think that's got anything to do with the camera on the top of the roof?
The curvature? You think? I think it has to do with the curvature, Anthony.
So
you reckon the way to refute the evidence is to cite
a photo where you can actually see it.
The reason you can see the mountain.
The photo where you can see it is false,
Lewis. The reason you can see the photo or the mountain from St. B's is because the mountain is tall.
No,
it has altitude.
I don't see any evidence.
And the reason you can't the reason you can't see St. B's from Douglas is because you're on the coast looking at something that is not tall.
Where's the mountain here? You said you could see it from St. B's. Where's the mountain? There is no mountain.
That's a decent point. That's a decent point. I would recommend.
Having a better camera.
There's a small shade out there.
What? Yeah, it's to the left of there. The problem is the particular spot that you pick, Riley, is looking too far north.
Well, to be fair,
you seem to be analysing Google car footage. This seems a bit silly.
Look at me.
No, it's not. It's not that silly, Nathan.
Look at my options. The only option I have is somewhere along this edge, and this is anywhere.
I know. It's tough to get good options, but that goes to support it even more. Actually, why can't?
So could you take an image of the constellation Orion with an iPhone?
I mean, I would recommend, Anthony, that you take your 83 times zoom and take it to the Isle of Man. And also watch a ferry go across to the Isle of Man. Because it'll disappear.
I think we've all got
watch
something to bring to this conversation, Lewis. And I think the thing you should bring
you know
is
what
silence.
a ferry is, right? It takes people from
a ferry
out across bodies of water.
I thought you meant fairy as in like wings, white thing, lace.
Yeah,
Why would you think I meant that? Why would you think I meant that?
Because it was just a hilarious setup.
Well, maybe you can take it more seriously.
Yeah,
ferry.
Like, you got to catch a ferry on camera. Just track. That's how you.
Well, yeah, I mean, you do. You have to catch the boat.
Yeah.
The reason I say a ferry is because other boats might not be going.
So I'll transition across to do a few links while they're having a barrage of ad hominem attacks. Hope you're all enjoying this debate thus far. If you are new to the channel or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show while it is live, so toss me a buck or two in there if you're enjoying these streams. And if you would like to join the panel, there is one gap currently. Simply click on the link in the info box below this video. Be sure to mute the page you are currently watching before you do so. If you join, there are a couple of rules. Number one, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, but you will be warmly welcomed back on the next stream, so please don't try to rejoin the show using sock accounts. Now, we do have about 140 people watching now, but if you could share the show, it'd be great to increase that live audience figure to increase the chances of a more diverse panel on this show and future shows. So please, please, please share the show. And one last time, if you are new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate.
I could see at the time. I didn't go looking for anything island. I was just looking for.
Camera zoom north, or if you did pan north and look in that direction up towards Karngan or whatever that's called.
Well, the furthest north I go is like where the land stops there. I didn't go any further because the land appeared to stop.
Is St. Bees a big trip for you? I didn't catch how far away it is.
It's 2.5 hours each way. It's
okay. Well, can you photograph the Isle of Man from, Blackpool or
easily
Formby or Southport or whatever that's closer to you?
Easily, yeah.
Why did you go to St. Bees, if you don't mind me asking?
It was just a breakaway. It was just a short breakaway, like a holiday vacation.
Because I'd really be curious if and serious point here, if you think you're getting Ireland at 146 miles away, I mean, certainly you should be able to catch Karngan and that area up there north of Isle of Man. I guess it's Scotland. I'm not sure, but in that area.
If it's Scotland curved, I've already addressed that point, because the problem with Scotland, let me just pause that a sec. The problem with Scotland is from, I'm over in Douglas now. I'll show you why you can't get Scotland. So if I put my line tool on here and then put my line out there. Is this where you're on about?
Go west.
That one?
What's out in there?
This is Scotland. Let me zoom out a bit. There's Ireland. There's Scotland. Are you on about this bit here?
Probably there.
All right. So what I'll do is I'll put it on the furthest tip left, and I'll show you why we can't get it. Like, that looks like it's the furthest point left. Would you agree?
Man, you got a straight line of sight. Looks like maybe curvature would be in the way.
Do you want to reconsider your position, Lewis?
Well, if you just go stand on that part, then.
Well, I wasn't there, was I?
Well, go do it.
Well, the answer to your question, Curved, is that the reason why I can't see Scotland is because there's a rock in the way.
What if you were farther south than St. Bees?
Well, it becomes very rural there. I mean, there's not.
Well, I'm not really concerned with. I'm just how about that? It's in the way from there.
So if I went to say, for example, just for you, Curved, if I went all the way down to there just for you, for that car park there, I'm assuming that that's a car park. I could probably park maybe there, and I would clearly see it.
Or Blackpool, or Formby, or whatever you have line of sight to. I'm just thinking, that's a lot closer than Ireland. I would think that we should be able to get that. No.
Yeah, we can get that. We can get that from Blackpool. Ranty could get that on a reasonable day. Bear in mind, it is winter. Ranty could get that from Blackpool Beach.
Can you see the Isle of Man from Blackpool?
Yeah, easily.
You can?
Yeah.
Can you see the base of it?
What about Ireland?
Well, the Isle of Man's in the way of the Isle of Man is in the way of Ireland from Blackpool.
All the way?
Let me zoom out a little bit. So that's the bearing that we need.
Go to the left.
Might be able to see that. You'd have to get an exceptionally clear day, though.
So the whole time you've been in Blackpool taking these pictures, you've never noticed Ireland.
That's okay.
Well, here's my question. Hold on. Here's my other question this is my other question, real quick for Riley. You noticed that because of the atmospheric moisture on that day, that was not exactly what I'd call a clear day, because when I did that side-by-side picture, the contrast was so low you could barely see the mountains.
Well, it was the clearest day I've ever seen, so I would totally disagree.
Well, maybe for you, it doesn't get that much clearer than that. I'm out here in Southern California, and our closest island is Catalina Island, and on a clear day, on a truly clear day, you don't have this opaqueness that you see, this kind of translucent opaqueness that you have here.
Well, yeah, that's a fair comment, but in England we live in.
But here's my question for you: if the contrast is this low from what you're seeing here is about 30, 40 miles away, how is it that the contrast doesn't drastically change to Ireland on the left, which is 3 times further away?
Well, again, I would
You would expect that it would be 3 times more diffuse, and you would barely be able to make out you would see a very distinct difference in the contrast change in the contour of the mountain.
You should.
Well, we see. Let me just get to the part where. Hang on.
Show me the part where you claim is the division between the Isle of Man and Ireland. Show me exactly the spot where the two break.
Let me just show you one thing first before I get to that. Right, the lights that can you see these white spots that follow this angle here? Can you see these?
Yep, they're like structures of some kind.
Yeah, they're buildings of some kind, yeah. That they follow the edge that is the same kind of edge that we see in the background here, but that's another edge in the foreground, and it's a contour, it's 2 contours, but you can't distinguish between them, and they're only 40 miles away. So what chance do you think there would be of any contrast when it goes from a bit further back in the video to here when we go off the point where Douglas is? Oh, come on.
Well, if you're looking through that much more distance, the effect should keep you from being able to see that part, no?
So everything that goes just beyond these trees here.
Change at all between looking at Isle of Man and looking at Ireland.
I agree, but there was no change.
Like the same distance.
There was no change at all either. Much closer.
I mean, here you can barely make out the land haze 30 miles away, but 150 miles away or 120 or whatever it is, 110, it's almost no different. It's
all right, well, what I'll do then is I'll ask you if you can disprove that this is Douglas, please do. Because if you can disprove it's Douglas, then we've misinterpreted what we're looking at.
Actually,
but if you can't disprove that it's Douglas, this bit here, this bit here, and that,
actually Douglas.
If anybody can disprove that this is Douglas and that is the tufted trees that I identified, then great. But if nobody can do it, this land doesn't exist on the Isle of Man.
That's not the way it works, Riley. You've got to prove that that's what you're claiming it is. We don't have to prove. No, you haven't.
I have.
Bear with me. I'm just going to do an introduction, guys. We've been joined by the Rumpus. How are you doing, the Rumpus? Good to have you here.
The link is not in the description.
Well,
I've got to get in. I don't know how other people manage to get in, but it just says you click here and there's nothing there at all.
I've just checked. I've put it in several times. This happens occasionally on the shows. They just get wiped, but it's been there. I've put it in twice. It's now gone.
How did
You're
everybody
right.
else get in?
I'm sorry. I'll put it back in.
I don't know. This is what confuses me. I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it for me, and someone sent me a message, sent me a link to it. That's the only way I was able to get in.
Well, maybe it's just a glitch. But if I put the line back in, I'm going to make the point again because I don't think that the
You can
assertion.
draw as many lines as you want, Anthony. Until you prove what we're looking at is what you actually say it is, then you've got no case, Anthony.
Mark, because you don't think that I'm proving my case, I'm going to go through it again just for you, because I think everybody else is quite
I'm just not
satisfied.
going to listen to you.
Well, I'll
pointless.
listen. I'll listen because the things you need to establish, obviously, Anthony, is where you are, and so we can see that on Google Maps, and then we can see what height you're at, and then we need to know what you think you're looking at, and we need to know the direction with which you're looking.
Right, I'm not going to show where I am at the minute because I'm at the other side of the world.
Right, that's fine. Yeah.
So this is what we're looking at. We're looking at this part of the coast, and we're looking at this triangular shaped piece of land here with all these buildings on, which is the town city centre called Douglas.
Yeah,
and you'll see in the video that this is triangular shaped, and the reason why it's triangular shaped is because it's cut off by this mountain here. But we can further validate it because at the top of this little hill, there's a load of trees here, and that's also evidence in the footage, and that's here. So we have the
You can only tell that they might be trees because of the patch of discoloration, which you cannot discern that.
We have the triangular part for Douglas here, and you can see that there's many buildings, and then it stops with a bold line, or not a bold line, but it stops abruptly, and then we have the trees that are on this map.
The trouble is, Anthony, we could be looking at anything. We're having to take entirely what you're saying here. I mean, I'm not saying you're lying or anything, but I'm just saying, we can't see that at all. We're just having to go on what you're saying.
What do you mean you can't see it at all?
Well, you were saying there were some buildings in.
Just check that's the real Pete Shea. Sorry to interrupt you, the Rumpus. Is that you, Pete?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Praise be.
Pete, don't snipe.
How's Eleanor and Nathan? Eleanor's gorgeous.
Good to have you here, Pete.
Sure.
Rumpus, we can identify that this is the mountain known as Snaefell. We can identify this town here.
I really think you're pushing. I'm not saying you're lying or anything, but I'm just saying that I could not tell that from the picture you're showing me against Google Earth that that's what's going on.
Ranty's shown the contour of the land on Google matches the contour in the evidence. He's shown that this matches the point that he's identified, and so does this. He's also
Ranty's saying that does not confirm what we see. Like, we're looking at the same images, right? And Ranty's description.
Ranty's also identified this contour with this contour behind it, and they both match. And Ranty's further identified that this is Douglas.
That doesn't help us identify it,
no,
Ranty, or
that's
Anthony.
the assertion based on the evidence.
Didn't epistemology show that what you're showing, the entirety of the Isle of Man that you're showing is like contained within the profile of Isle of Man on Google Earth?
That means
Paul, sorry to interrupt you all. Just very quick introduction for Paul. How you doing, Paul? Got about 10 minutes left.
I'm good. Thanks.
Good to have you.
Is it curvature or is it a natural perspective, natural condition, or is it one or the other or both? Or which do you choose to leave behind? Rumpus. That's for you, Rumpus.
Right. I've got my little calculator myself, and there is indeed, if it certainly is Ireland, then there is indeed, I think, 3,000 meters or something that would be the drop there. So I'm very, very, even allowing for refraction, that wouldn't be sufficient. So
you got another problem. Remember, you were stomped on the Myrtle Beach again this time.
Yeah, that wasn't so difficult. That Anacapa thing, yes. I didn't allow in my calculations for refraction there. And if you do allow for a moderate amount of refraction, you can account for it. In my calculations, I didn't when I first looked at that. And it's only with George Natayuk's observations of refraction along that ice that I realized just how significant refraction is when you're looking at very low angles, which is obviously what Anthony's doing here. It moves things up and down quite a few, sort of degrees, but obviously it wouldn't account for the difference here, because I mean the difference on what Anthony's claiming here, if that's Ireland, there's a difference of 3,000 meters. I haven't, and I can't remember what you were, but there, hold on, but the thing we're looking at is 2,000 meters high, the mountain.
Yeah.
Right. So I've not gone to my calculator there.
It weren't 2,000 meters high, and you said it was 900 meters.
There's no better than 2,000 meters.
2,000 feet. Sorry, it's 2,000 feet, wasn't it? Not 200.
Right. True science is an honourable endeavour, right? And the one thing you notice about these panels are there are people with questions, and there are people with no questions but all the answers. That's why I asked you about curvature and natural perspective, natural appreciation of conditions. Which do we take? Which do we leave behind? Because I know that the ballers, if you take both into consideration, you're stumped. You're finished. It has to be one or the other, right? You can't take both of
Right,
them.
we're finished, but we're still here, though. We're still here, though, Pete, aren't we? And it's still a globe, so we're not finished, really.
My point that I'd like to make a point here. My point, I'm sharing a picture at the moment. It's just a simple picture. My point to make is if Anthony is seeing Ireland from St. Bees, then we should see the Isle of Man in front of that. Clearly, you can't see mountains in the background and not see the mountains in the foreground.
Check the video that
If you're seeing the if you're seeing Ireland in the background, then you have to be seeing the Isle of Man in front of Ireland. Clearly, you can't claim that one is visible over the curvature, but the one that's closer is hidden by the curvature. That's contradictory. That's self-contradictory.
Right. Paul, I
Okay.
think you misunderstood.
So if you're seeing Ireland and you're claiming you're seeing the island that's behind the Isle of Man, then you have to be able to see the Isle of Man clearly in front of those mountains of Ireland. This is not what we're seeing.
Paul, we're seeing the Isle of Man. I think you've misunderstood the whole hangout. So just let me show what I was talking about here. If we look at the contour of this land here to pick out features, this is as far right as the image goes. You can see it rises up, it rises up, it rises up, and this is the image. This is the peak known as Snake Fell, which is this one. And then you can see that there's another peak here that's just in the cloud, which would be this one. And then if we move a bit more over, we see that it comes down and then it rises. And then you can see that it comes down and then it rises, which would be this one. And then we see this town here. So if we zoom in a little bit, it's somewhere here. This is where Ranty's better. That one. This would be this one.
That didn't look like that.
You really don't think so?
That looks flat.
And also, like, even if that is the right town, it's awfully close to the horizon, and these cliffs, most of them are quite obviously obscured by curvature.
Yeah, the cliffs aren't there at all. Yes.
Well, the cliffs are below it, guys. The cliffs are
Yeah, but that's not nearly enough cliff.
Okay, well, let's just take the overall, all of the evidence, and see if you disagree with me overall. So,
I mean, the answer to that is yes.
Well, okay. Well, look at the way that the land comes down and then goes back up there.
Well, the outline of the horizon, of the top of the mountain of the island there, sure, that matches up. But near the horizon, there's a lot of the island that is obscured.
So there's the mountain there, which reflects this mountain there, and then as we come a bit further over, we have.
Can you not put two of them on the screen at the same time, Anthony? If we could see, if you could share your whole desktop rather than just this, then we could see the two together. Because at the moment you're flicking between them, and we just can't keep up watching what's going on.
Look how big the image is.
But if you grab the screen and your Google Maps, and we could see them both together, then we could see how alike they are. But at the moment, you're just
picture in the green chat, Anthony, so that I can try and match up some points on Google Earth to try to figure out exactly where everything is.
How do I drop a picture into the green chat? Does it
just save that picture? Just save that picture somewhere, and then you can go in the green chat and you can hit the little add icon in there.
Okay.
There's a little.
I don't think he's got green chat.
What I'll do is I'll pass the image to Nathan at the end of it, and I think he can upload it somehow to the description of the Hangout and put it in there. Is that okay?
Well, can't you save it on a Google Drive? Just got to do it.
Yeah, you can just click it right now and then point it to the file location where that is, and then we'll
exactly.
All have
So just upload to Google Drive or something this image, and then we can have a look at it, and then I can do a comparison myself between Google.
So go ahead
Drive
and save that. Perfect. Cool. Now go in the green chat and then just post it in the green chat.
And when you say the green chat, do you mean the side chat that we've got in the Hangout, or do you mean the one that's...
No, the one where the Hangout is running in.
Yeah. Okay, hang on. We're going to run out of time, by the way, guys.
No. All right, we'll pick it up next time.
You've got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm just getting the Hangouts bit. Hangouts. Hangouts.com.
Hangouts.google.com.
Yeah, I've got it. And then how do I get it to add into it?
Just open up the back chat for this Hangout.
Bring up the Hangout that we're in right now.
It should be the first hangout over
Oh,
there.
there you go.
on
Right,
Undercover.
exactly. The bottom right there, there should be a picture icon. Yep.
Oh yeah. Right. Okay. So it was called Full Landscape, wasn't it? Is that it?
Oh, you talked to.
You'll have to hit the little. You have to hit the little paper airplane at the end. You hit the little paper airplane.
That one there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. There's the full landscape picture.
Perfect.
And what I've also done, just so that if I go into,
I think Ranty's just sent you an image that he's desperately trying to get you to show as well.
Okay.
Before we run out of
Let me
time.
just go to the bit where I've made my videos, my channel. I'm just going to make the actual video public. How do I do it now? It's I want the video editor. Create a studio. And the actual unedited video has already been highlighted. Uploaded rather. So if I click edit. And then how do I make this unlisted? Talk about pressure. There we go. Make that public. There's the unedited video. So everybody can go to the channel now and you can watch the video and you can use the overlay. I don't know how to get the chat so that everybody can get it on chat. But let me just see what Ranty's going trying to get me to do. Oh, I think, yeah, that's the same image, Ranty. I've got that.
So I think when we come back to this, we'll probably talk about how Douglas isn't visible, and those lights that you're pointing at to be Douglas are simply other towns that are further up the island.
That's exactly it. So let's just be very clear and concise. My assertion is that Douglas is evidence in the picture. And if anybody can prove that it's not Douglas, please do so, because it appears to be supported by all the evidence collectively. And the land that goes beyond Douglas and beyond that little slob of trees, that land, just for the avoidance of doubt, this little slob of trees that's here, all the land that goes beyond this is not part of Isle of Man. So if anybody can prove that that's not right, be my guest.
And with that, I'm going to say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for joining and sharing this debate. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the live panel for making this debate possible. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.